let's dive into all this gritty cyclocross action we have going on. First and foremost, some notable absentee riders at the World Championships coming up.
Yeah, Fayetteville, as excited as we are at the end of this month to actually get to be on home turf here in America to watch Cyclocross Worlds, first time in a very long time. Two big players, Wout and Vanderpool, are not going to be in. And, I want to say that maybe I saw this coming. They clearly put some effort into making the seasons this year and doing some races and obviously doing really well. But unfortunately, Matthew just hasn't been able to get over that back injury that I believe has really been just a pain, literally a pain in his back since the Olympics and that really unfortunate tumble that he took. And then Wout is just saying that, he wants to focus on the spring classics and, is it going to be the same world championships without the two of them out there? I'm not really sure about that, but I think also this, we talked about this at the end of last year. This gives plenty of other great up and coming riders an opportunity to showcase what they have and to also put on that rainbow jersey.
Yeah, it's sad news. Obviously at a World Championship level event, you want to see the best riders in the world, but without Wout, without Mathieu van der Poel, we're going to see an incredibly intense battle between the rest of the field. Tom Paycock has got to just be licking his lips right now at the opportunity. The Olympic mountain bike champion has a very legitimate possibility of winning a world championship title in the elite cyclocross races. He is a few years younger than Wout and Matthew. He, likely is probably there's going to come a year where he doesn't do the cyclocross world championships because his world tour road team is going to tell him that he needs to focus on other things. It seems like we've hit that point with Wout and Matthew. Pidcock, I think he's still got to really be gunning for an elite title before that day comes for him. And this could be his year. It's not going to be easy though. Ellie Iserbyt, the World Cup leader, clearly incredible form. You know, golden opportunity for him. And I'm honestly looking at Lars van der Haar, who's been kind of the story of the season for me.
Mhm.
The comeback kid for Telenet, winning the European Cyclocross Championships. He had a consistent run of world championship podiums back in, I don't know, 2014, 15, 16, when Sven Nys was still racing. We haven't seen him on a podium at the world championships since 2016. And he looks poised to put himself back up there this year.
Yeah, he had a really good upward trajectory throughout the season. It's been really fun seeing that growth that he's had. But one thing to mention about Lars and the team of the Dutchmen, they actually, news has come from the Dutch camp that they are not going to be fielding a full roster of racers this year. Apparently, instead of typically 6 to 8 racers, they are only sending their top two men, which it looks like it is going to be Van der Haar and Kome van Kessel. So I find that really interesting. That does who does that leave out? I mean, there's definitely racers out there that I believe are worthy of racing the world championships that aren't going to be there. And so, it's an interesting thing that they've decided to do. But, what is the reasoning behind that reduced roster?
Well, it's a perfect storm of events, really. I think first and foremost, the Omicron coronavirus variant is just, throwing a wrench in everything. First and foremost, international travel. It's not easy to get around. You have to feel for these teams. Take what the Netherlands team is doing. They're flying from the Netherlands to the U.S. across 2 days. They are going to fly to the Houston International Airport, which is some like 600 miles away from Fayetteville, Arkansas, their final destination. Then they're going to get a U-Haul, a truck, a van, something, carry 50
Mhm.
bicycles and all their teams up. That 600-mile drive. That's like essentially driving from Brussels to Copenhagen, where the start of the 2022 Tour de France is. Um, it's an insane drive for these Europeans to make. You have to feel for them. At the same time, it is the World Championships. We're trying to internationalize cyclocross, so it is disappointing to see rosters not be completely filled out. But understandable reasons this year. I would like to think that in normal non-pandemic times, these European powerhouse nations would field full squads for World Championships in the U.S. I'll give them a pass this year. But yeah, disappointing. That said, while the Dutch men are only sending two riders, you can always count on the Dutch women to put on a show. They are fielding all eight riders. Keep in mind they have that extra eighth roster spot because Lucinda Brand is defending world champion. So the Dutch women, always the powerhouse of really women's cycling in general, but cyclocross, they're going to put on a show for us in Fayetteville.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as of right now, the top 8 women for the World Cup standings are all Dutch, and not only that, it's literally 1 through 8. You can just read them straight down. Brand, Betsema, Peters, Empel, Van Rouge, Voss, Wurst, Van Heiden. They're all in the top 8. And then we have American Clara Hunsinger sitting in ninth, which brings up a good point. We'll get to the Americans in a second, but it does bring up a good point. There's going to be a lot of competition, obviously, within those Dutch women. We are working to internationalize cross, but I think it's safe to say there is going to be a Dutch domination out at the world race, and it is going to be up to Americans such as Clara Hunsinger to mix it up, and let's just dive into what the American roster is going to look like. You mentioned that there's going to be 38 athletes representing the United States this year, which is absolutely incredible.